The West is in a drought and wells are drying up left and right, leaving homeowners without water and out thousands of dollars to have them fixed. Before we get started, my name is Isaac Crace. I'm a third-generation realtor here in the Boise, Idaho area. So if you or anyone you know is thinking about making the move to the Boise, Idaho area, this is one of the many reasons that you're going to want to pick that phone up, give me a call, send me an email, shoot me a text, or even some smoke signals so I can help guide you through the purchase process to avoid any big issues. My phone is ringing off the hook with people just like you looking to make that move to the Boise, Idaho area, and I absolutely love helping them out, but you got to reach out to me first in order for me to help you. So yes, it is true, wells in the Boise area are starting to go dry, and I've had a bunch of people reach out to me asking about water issues here in the Boise area, so that's what inspired me to hop on here and dive a little bit into this to learn you some information on this so you don't find yourself in the shoes that a lot of homeowners are starting to find themselves in. All right, so in order to explain this issue, I'm going to have to go a little bit back and explain how water works in Idaho in order to have it make sense. So in the Boise area, we're in what's known as the high desert, which means from the spring all the way until fall, we don't get hardly any rain during the summer, which is great. I mean, honestly, you can go have a picnic in the park, you can go out to the lake, float down the Boise River, do anything outside without having to possibly even rain check. You can plan months in advance, which is nice. But it is a bit of an issue for an area that is predominantly agriculture based. Without water, all that we have is some beautiful sagebrush and dirt. So that leaves us with one of two options. Either we have to have rain, which you can't plan on during the summer, or you have to bring in the water from somewhere else, either the lakes, the rivers, the reservoirs, anything like that to water your crops. Here's a fun fact for you. The Lake Lowell and Lucky Peak Reservoir, which you're going to hear about quite a bit, both of them were built for storing irrigation water. So as you're enjoying the water out there, boating, fishing, or whatnot, just know that the purpose of that was actually to store irrigation water. And since we're getting all fancy with this video, I'm going to bring up a whiteboard to better explain the situation, and it's really going to help make sense. In Idaho, in the Boise area specifically, we have two different aquifers. We have a main aquifer down here that is constantly full of water. And then above that one, we have a smaller aquifer up here. And the way I want to explain this is that imagine this aquifer up here, the top one is like a bucket. The amount of water that's in this top aquifer depends on a few things, either precipitation, how much rain or snow we got, irrigation, or a couple other things. So if we get good rain in the spring, then this aquifer is going to be pretty full. Now, throughout the summer, as we are watering our crops through irrigation, like the fields here, you have water that's coming down here into this aquifer. In previous times, when Boise used to be really agricultural, all of this irrigation charged this aquifer to a great extent, something like 70-some%. So as you can imagine, with all the fields here, this aquifer is getting charged very well. Now, when the homes were built in and around the fields, not in big subdivisions, they would drill the wells until they hit water. No problem, right? You got your water, it's in the well, you're bringing water into your house, everything's fine. Now, as the area is becoming less and less agricultural, we're having people come in and fields are turning into more homes. Forgive my crude drawing of homes. But with these homes coming in, we aren't getting water charging this aquifer anymore. So instead of the water level being maybe up here in this area, maybe it's down here. And that's where the issue is coming up. It's in homes that are older homes, not necessarily newer homes. When they were drilling the wells, they drilled until they hit water, which is perfect. Now, they didn't drill into this deeper aquifer because there was no real need for it. That water was always there, was constantly there. One thing to keep in mind as well, if you aren't familiar with the Boise area, in order to drill a well deeper, the ground here, it kind of just sucks. Like if you're trying to dig a hole in your backyard, you're going to know that the ground here sucks. We have a lot of lava rock, a lot of clay. It's not easy to dig through, so it's also quite expensive to dig the wells deeper. So if you hit water, there was no need to go any deeper. But like I said, with these new homes coming in, there's less and less water charging that well. So the shallow wells are the ones that are going dry. Like I said, they're in older homes. So what you have to do is you have to come in here, drill the well deeper until you hit this other aquifer. This other aquifer down here, it isn't dictated by how much precipitation, irrigation, anything that we have. So it's a constant water supply, whereas this one, it varies based on multiple different scenarios. So drilling the wells into these deeper aquifers is what you have to do to fix the issues with the older homes and the older wells. Newer homes, the wells, if you're on a well, it's going to be drilled into this deeper aquifer for the most part. Like I said, the older homes are the ones that are having the issues with that. Now that I've explained it, I'm going to put the whiteboard away. All right, I hope my drawing was able to help visualize more than me just explaining how the water situation in the Boise area works. So what are some things that you can do to avoid coming across this unfortunate situation? Number one reason is, does your house actually have a well? If you're buying a home in the city, you're going to be getting city services for the most part. So city water, which isn't going to be affected by the wells. The majority of homes that are going to be affected or have wells are going to be more outside of the city. So if you're in the city, you don't necessarily have to worry about it as much because you're going to be getting city services. The next thing to take into consideration is how deep the well is. If it's a shallower well, then there's a chance that it may have an issue with water. But I want to say that not all shallow wells are going to have issues with the water table or not being drilled deep enough. For instance, in the Star and Eagle area, your wells don't need to be very deep because they're so close to the Boise River that the water table over there is super high. So a well that's shallow over there may be plenty deep, whereas a well south of the valley where you're away from any rivers or the lake, it's going to have to be deeper because the water level is going to be lower in that area. Like many other reasons along with this one that come up through the process of purchasing a home, the majority of them can all be avoided by using an agent who knows your stuff. Case in point, you got to reach out to me, give me a call, send me a text, shoot me an email, days, nights, weekends. I love helping you guys out. My phone is ringing off the hook, but in order for me to help you, you got to reach out to me. If you like this video, you might find this one interesting or this, and I look forward to catching you in next week's video.